The classroom was no longer safe, and they had to relocate. The male students led the way, while the female students watched from behind. They used door panels to fend off the zombies as they slowly moved forward. The entire teaching building was filled with zombies, leaving them with nowhere to run. Suhyok stayed behind to hold them off. The rest of the group was blocked at the entrance to the science classroom. They smashed the lock and took temporary shelter inside. Unfortunately, Anjo accidentally dropped the only phone outside, and it was impossible to retrieve it now. Just as they sighed with relief, zombies started climbing in through the windows. The group quickly stacked tables to block them. The immediate crisis was averted. Anjo suddenly noticed that Suhyok was missing. Everyone was so focused on escaping that they hadn't noticed Suhyok. They weren't the only ones who survived. The two students on the rooftop didn't know whether to be happy or sad when they looked at the zombies below them. In the cafeteria, a few survivors were in a dangerous situation. The zombies were right beside them, and the female student was crying in fear. The school bully, GWI heartlessly kicked her out, leaving her to become the zombies' prey. In the girls' restroom, there were 3 survivors: the straightforward Mi-jin, the cowardly Junsong, the unwell Halim, whom Mi-jin discovered had a wound on her shoulder, so she locked her up. As long as she didn't mutate, they were still friends, but if they mutated, they would become enemies. Mi-jin's actions angered Halim. Halim threatened that the first person she would kill after turning into a zombie would be Mi-jin. As time passed, Halim began to mutate uncontrollably. Mi-jin prepared for a fight and impaled Halim's head with a stick. At the deadlock, an arrow shot towards Halim, ending the battle. The archer was Hari from the archery team. Then, Sunwa's voice came through the broadcast, warning that some students had lost their sanity and become extremely aggressive. She advised everyone to hide and wait for rescue. After the broadcast, the campus briefly fell into silence. Isaac was chatting with Anjo when Anjo suddenly noticed that Isaac's hands were cold, and her nose was bleeding. Isaac had been bitten while fighting the zombies. Although she denied it, her increasingly red eyes revealed the truth. Anjo hugs Isaac reluctantly. Chongsen quickly pulled Anjo away. Within seconds, Isaac turned into a zombie. Chongsen stood up to protect Anjo, not wanting to harm Isaac, but she was no longer the same person. Isaac crazily charged towards Anjo. Chongsen immediately pushed Isaac away, and she clung to the windowsill with one hand. Anjo rushes forward and pulls Isaac in, reminiscing about their time together. She couldn't bear to let go. Na-yun kicked a chair, and Chongsan picked it up and smashed it at Isaac. Anjo can only watch with tears in her eyes as her former friend leaves her. Chongsen tried to console Anjo but couldn't find the right words. After a brief moment of calm, Chongsan made a decision to escape from there. He felt that staying put was not a solution, and waiting for rescue was unreliable. To survive, they had to rely on themselves. Chongsan got a fire hose from outside the door and prepared to go down from the window to assess the situation. Chongsan wanted to take the lead, but when he saw Anjo, he hesitated and asked Jiangsu to go down first. Jiangsu made his way to the second floor and met Sunwa. One by one, everyone descended and reunited with Sunwa. In the classroom, only Anjo and Chongsan remained. Anjo was still immersed in grief. As the people she liked were dying one by one, Chongsan urged Anjo to pull herself together, emphasizing that nothing was more important than staying alive. Time was running out, as zombies were about to break in from outside. Meanwhile, Suhayok was facing a serious challenge. Several zombies were nearby, and continuing to hide was not a viable option. He would eventually be discovered. At this critical moment, Suhayok escaped from the window and temporarily evaded danger. However, Chongsan's situation was not ideal. Anjo had not yet reached the second floor, and the zombies were quickly closing in. Just as Anjo reached the second floor, the zombies stormed in. Chongsan had no time to go down and was instantly tackled by a zombie, but the fire hose saved his life. Upstairs, Suhayok witnessed the situation but was unable to help Chongsan. Suddenly a zombie appeared on Suhayok's head. The relentless zombie lunged at Suhayok. Suhayok had no choice but to leap, grabbing the fire hose and hanging in midair with Chongsan. They carefully descended together and finally joined the rest on the second floor. However, before the others entered the room, Na-yeon yelled to close the window. Jae-in-soo couldn't stand Na-yeon's attitude and argued with her, leading to an argument between them. Na-yeon's words were extremely harsh, and Jae-in-soo couldn't hold back and accidentally pushed her down. Sunhwa hurriedly intervened, asking them to apologize to each other. In anger, Sunhwa scolded them, reminding them that they didn't even have time to deal with zombies. Yet they were wasting time arguing. As everyone opened the computer to check the news outside, they were all focused on the screen when suddenly the window glass shattered from the impact of the fire hose. Chongsan went to check, and to their surprise, a zombie dropped down from above. Chongsan immediately grabbed a mop, trying to push the zombie off, but it seemed impossible. Jae-in-soo tried to pry the zombie's fingers open but couldn't make it fall. An enraged Suhayok picks up a stick and accidentally hits Jae-in-soo in the nose before plunging the stick into the zombie's body. However, the zombie kept trying to climb back up. In desperation, Jae-in-soo picked up the computer's CPU and smashed the zombie down, just as they managed to push the zombie out of the broadcasting room together. In the city center, a large group of zombies were crazily charging forward, and opposite them was a fully armed police force. Wherever the zombies went, they bit people. At this moment, an electric scooter drove up, and the police tried to stop it. This person is none other than Chongsan's mother, and her destination is the school. Everyone finally breathed a sigh of relief, but the computer was no longer usable. Then, Jae-in-soo's nose started bleeding, and everyone nervously looked at him. Jae-in-soo wasn't concerned because he knew it was caused by Suhayok's stick earlier. However, Na-yeon looked at Jae-in-soo in terror, insisting that he had been bitten. After they had reconciled, their conflicts erupted again. The most important thing was that several other students also didn't trust Jae-in-soo. At this moment, Na-yeon noticed a wound on Jae-in-soo's hand back. This made it even harder for Jae-in-soo to explain, and he felt deeply wronged. He rushed up there to save everyone, and now he's targeting him instead of thanking him. Chongsan went forward to inspect Jae-in-soo's wound and found it was just a scrape, not a bite. Everyone came forward to confirm Jae-in-soo's wound, and indeed, it was a scrape. With confirmation, they all believed that Na-yeon needed to apologize to Jae-in-soo. However, Na-yeon, being stubborn, refused to apologize and instead accused that she saw a zombie scratch Jae-in-soo's hand, so he must have been infected. Even though most people believed Jae-in-soo was not infected, to dispel any doubts, the teacher suggested Jae-in-soo stay in the recording studio for 10 minutes, which was the best solution at the moment. But Jae-in-soo had his pride and angrily declared that if he had to stay, he would stay for an hour. While the teacher's approach was sensible, it hurt those who had rushed ahead. The actions of Sunhwa caused a rift among the group. Jiangsu voluntarily entered the recording studio. They have a short break. After half an hour, Na-yeon went in to apologize to Jiangsu under the teacher's advice. However, Na-yeon, deep down, looked down on Jiangsu, and instead of apologizing, she humiliated him further. Their conflict escalated once again. As everyone was criticizing Na-yeon, suddenly Jiangsu began to bleed from his nose. Everyone was scared and urged Jiangsu to leave immediately. Seeing the emotional state of the group, the teacher had no choice but to ask Jiangsu to leave. This deeply hurt Jiangsu. Feeling disappointed, Jiangsu walked towards the door. Just as he was about to open it, the virus inside him erupted completely. After mutating, Jiangsu started attacking everyone. Chongsan stood at the window and whistled to get Jiangsu's attention. When Jiangsu pounced, Chongsan swiftly dodged, causing Jiangsu to fall heavily. Chongsan watched Jiangsu drift away with tears in his eyes. The atmosphere in the broadcasting room dropped to freezing point. At this moment, Namare, who had been silent, suddenly spoke up. She suspected that Na-yeon was involved in this. Namare had noticed that when Na-yeon went in to apologize to Jiangsu, she wiped the stick with zombie blood using a handkerchief. Then, Na-yeon used the same handkerchief with zombie blood to wipe Jiangsu's wound, leading to his infection. Exposed, Na-yeon was immediately driven out of the broadcasting room. They all know that once she walks out that door, she might die. Although Na-yeon had made a mistake, Sunhwa couldn't bear to see her die outside and decided to go look for Na-yeon. Outside, Na-yeon felt hopeless as she walked in the corridor, soon attracting a large group of zombies. Just as the zombies were about to pounce on Na-yeon, Sunhwa appeared and saved her. In the radio room, as Chongsan stood at the window looking for Jiangsu's figure, someone carefully avoided the zombies and arrived at the school playground. This person was none other than Chongsan's mother, who was worried about his safety and came to find him. She saw Jiangsu, Chongsan's good friend, and approached to ask about Chongsan's whereabouts. But instead of answering her, Chongsan opened his mouth wide and viciously bit her. If the Chongsan at the window knew about this, he would probably personally kill Na-yeon. In another corner of the school, GWINAM escaped from the cafeteria, but the other areas of the school were not safe either. In desperation, GWINAM hid in the principal's office, but there were also several zombies inside. At a critical moment, GWINAM had no choice but to fight them off. On the other hand, at the police station, Jaek finally understood the severity of the situation and questioned Bayan-chan about why he didn't speak up earlier. Bayan-chan smiled and explained that he had been speaking up from the beginning, but no one believed him. Bayan-chan revealed the cause of the incident, which started with his son. His son had been suffering from bullying for a long time, and Bayan-chan hadn't taken the problem seriously. It wasn't until his son attempted suicide that Bayan-chan realized how serious the issue was. Bayan-chan wanted to help his son resolve the issue, but the school's higher-ups were just like him in the beginning, not caring about the problem at all. Seeing the bullying worsen, and his son attempting suicide multiple times, Bayan-chan knew he couldn't change others, so he tried to change his son instead, but he never wanted things to develop to this extent. Jaek wants Bayan-chan to hand over the healing potion and stop making things worse, but Bayan-chan doesn't have the cure at all. At this time, the government had ordered the evacuation of the entire city. Just as Jaek prepared to take Bayan-chan away, they discovered that the place was already surrounded by zombies. Seeing the zombies madly tearing at others, Bayan-chan smiled. When there were only his son and wife as zombies, Bayan-chan had considered that this might be the closest existence to human nature. He thought it might be better to accept and coexist with them rather than trying to treat them. Bayan-chan had always believed that his idea was right, but the scene before his eyes made him realize that coexistence was just a joke. These people had become complete and utter demons. Without hesitation, Byeon-chan stepped forward to help fend off the zombies but accidentally got bitten. Jae-ik prepared to take Byeon-chan away, but he insisted on staying behind. Byeon-chan informed Jae-ik that his laptop was in the laboratory, and it contained the solution to this problem, the only solution. He blocked the swarming zombies, providing Jae-ik with a chance to escape.